while we have Photoshop open, I want to do something else really quickly. So let's go ahead and minimize and go into our Udemy folder. Let's open up our PSD folder, and I want to open up the search.psd. We're going to add a little bit to this so we can actually scroll through this content in our app. So double click to open it as a PSD file. And I'm going ahead and gonna exit out of the icon.psd and the app icon template. We don't need those for now. And we have this search.psd that we created earlier. Well, what I want to do is double this size. Well, not quite double it, but we're going to make it so we can scroll through this list. And the first thing I want to do is increase the canvas size. So if we come over to here to image and come down to canvas size, we're just going to make this height a lot bigger. And let's do, let's do 3208 for now. Okay, and I want to minimize everything so I can grab all these really easily, and we're just going to grab the status bar all the way down to the background. And with our move tool, we're just going to move this to the very top. And I'm going to make sure snap is on, so it snaps right to the top. Okay, very cool. Now, what I want to do is move this featured bar down and double this content. So we need to open up our top bar, which our navigation just happens to be in there. That's not very aptly named. It should be top and bottom bar, but for now it's fine. So we can, first of all, let's unselect that, and let's come down to our, our navigation bar is in a separate folder, which is good. We did name it correctly. And we're just going to hide this, re-show it. We're going to use our move tool, and with the entire navigation folder selected, we're just going to drag this down all the way so it snaps to the bottom. Doesn't seem to want to be snapping, so I'm going to zoom in a bit. 200%. I'm going to come down here. I'm going to turn off snap and make sure that this is just down at the bottom. Line up perfectly. There we go. Now we can zoom back out. And we're just going to create a little bit more content, and we're just going to copy this middle section here, and I believe that is under our categories. So let's open up categories, and we have these in each of their own individual text layers. Well, let's just grab photography all the way down to search, and let's select all of those by holding shift, and we are going to duplicate them all. Okay, so now we have a copy of all those, and our move tool is selected. We're just going to drag this down. Okay. Let's drag it down. And put it right here. We'll put it right here. You'll see that there's search and top search. We're going to delete that in just a second once it's lined up properly, and that looks about right. Okay, and I'm just going to come down to the very bottom where it says search and top searches, and I'm just going to hide these two layers because we didn't need to duplicate those. Okay, perfect. Oops, I apologize. Let's reopen those. I hid the wrong ones. We need to hide the copies of search and top search. So let's hide this. Let's hide this. Now we're in business. All we need to do is make sure this background is the appropriate color. And we can do that very easily by coming into background. And we're going to duplicate our background layer as well. So Control or Command J. And let's drag this down. And this doesn't have to be perfect. I just want you guys to see what we can do with scrolling. So now we have a lot taller image. We're going to save it as file, save as, and let's just call this search scroll, and let's just save this as a JPEG. And I need to select the correct folder, so I'm going to go to Udemy and select JPEGs, and I'm going to save it in this folder. Now let's go back into InVision. We can go ahead and upload a new screen by coming up here to the top right and selecting Upload Screens. And I'm just going to browse and go into my Udemy folder, into my JPEGs, and I'm going to upload this brand new screen. Search scroll. Great. Now we're actually going to replace our old search with this one. So let's drag this up here and let's come up into our old search and we're just going to delete this. So in the top right, select delete. Yes, delete. And let's go ahead and view this screen. Now we need to come all the way to the bottom really quickly and link up these the navigation bars because we're creating a new one. So go into build mode and let's do featured, and I'm just going to do these really quickly. And we'll do my courses and link it to my course or courses. There we go, and we have two more. Let's do wish list and settings real quick. Wish list. All right, save and settings. Okay, cool. So now when we preview this, you'll notice that we have our screen we just created, and we can scroll now, which is cool, but it doesn't quite make sense because, well, the navigation bar's here. We don't want that to scroll. Well, that's fine. We can actually go back to build mode and scroll down to the bottom, and you'll see right here along the bottom here is what's called fixed footer. We just need to drag this up right above our footer, and we can also come up here to create a fixed header, and we're going to drag this just below this green space here. And now if we view this, we'll see that our footer's here, and we can scroll through this with that staying there. So we can add another dimension to this prototype, and by dimension I mean scrollability, which is pretty cool.